It's recording.
How y'all doing? Coming to y'all live from our podcast right now. It's our 10 in the house and inclusivity, baby. How y'all doing? We out here talking about our health, you guys. So let's get it started. Again, you guys, my name is Chris, Tranell, Shelby, Caitlin, and of course, Nia. All right, so let's get it started. All right. So the first question today, and you know what? I'm gonna take this to my girl Shelby over there, and I want to hear what she got to say about this. How do you set goals for your life or for what you want to do, and just in general? How do you set your own goals?
Okay, well, I do a couple of things. I first envision the big picture. So I sit down and I think about what do I want out of life? Like overall, where do I want my end goal to be? And then from there I work backwards. So you think, what am I gonna have to do in a couple of years from now? Where am I gonna have to be, going backwards to the point where I'm like, what can I start doing now that's gonna help me to get to my end goal? So I think having an end vision is important within setting goals. And then from there, you have to work backwards to say, because, right now, whether it's the budget that you don't have, whether it's the resources you don't have, you have to build it up to that point. So that's personally how I set my goals every year and even throughout the year.
Okay, I like that. I like that method. Working back and having to set a goal and then try to work back and accomplish it. I like that. Nia, Janelle, Kaylin, whoever wants to go.
I was going to say the same as Shelby. Like, I like to look at the end goal, the big thing that I need to kind of accomplish and set a goal. But like, what I like to do is like break it down, really by quarter. So, what can I do this quarter to reach that big goal that I want to reach? So, thinking of 2021, you have basically 4 different quarters. So, think of it like kind of like football. So, for this first quarter, I want to knock this out. And then I break it down even further to say, okay, so each month, this is what I'm going to do in order to accomplish that goal. So I really like to base it on time because I feel like that's when I'm really making progress towards my goal.
I like that. Kayla.
Yeah, like what you guys said, I relate to that. Like, but I picture mine as almost like a board game. So, because I know I just can't focus, and I just have to do one task at a time. So I have a goal. Like my overall goal is to be like a social worker.
Wow.
So in order to do that, I set small goals. And since like I'm trying to do so many things at once, I try to tackle each goal one at a time. So once I do one goal, like even if it's small, like okay, I gotta let's say I gotta go pick up some papers from like the mailbox. That's a small goal, but once
Hmm.
I do that, I move on to the other goal. So setting small goals, like even if it's like really small, that helps me get to my bigger goal.
Absolutely. Nia.
Definitely. Um, I do the same thing. Literally, I do the same thing. Think about where I'm trying to be, my overall goal. And once I know where I'm trying to go, I start to jot down my steps. So me, I'm a visionary. I can't just think of something and then go for it. I have to see it on paper. I have to write it down. It has to be there in my face. I have to have it in my phone for reminders and everything. I need a vision board. I need notes over there, everything like that, just to keep reminding me what I'm supposed to be doing and how to do it. And then on top of that, I do my research. Research is the most important thing ever. So I do my research. I do my homework.
Yeah, I think what Nia was just trying to say, her point, she just wants to uh see it. She's a visual person. So it's important for her to have her goals lined up for her to understand that, hey, I need to get this. This is one of the main things I think Mia was trying to end off saying before she froze up, but it's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
What about you, Chris?
All right. Me personally, when it comes to my goals, what I'm trying to do, it may sound cliche and all, but to be honest with you, I line up with God for real. Like to be honest, I don't know. Sometimes I really don't know. Sometimes God put me different ways, and to be honest with you, I have dreams and goals, and I want certain things. Don't get me wrong, but the way in which sometimes stuff happen is like I can't explain it. So and me and Chanel tell I'm I'm a big idea. I'm a out the box thinker. That's just who I am. And these two mellow me out a lot. But I'm a type goal setter that who who knows that I want more than what I had when I was little. I want more. I'm going to get more. I deserve more. So I'm gonna fight for it. But God put me different ways. And doing different things that I'm just gonna follow His path. Sometimes those are my goals. I follow God goals and keep going. And sometimes I fall, but I get right back on up, and that's all I can do for real. So
I think that's an important point on what you said, because a lot of times, which probably what we're going to talk about later, what you have in your mind of what you want to do and then what God wants for you, sometimes it's two completely different
Right.
things.
I tell
You
you.
know, and my biggest testament is because at the beginning of the year when I made a vision board for this 2020, nowhere on it did I include a mental health business or inclusivity. Like it wasn't even thought of. So I just always say sometimes what you have is this big compared to what God has for you is this big. So like you said, sometimes things don't go your way, but just knowing, eventually things will happen for the greater good. So
Right. And
that's
I can say
important.
personally too, I didn't think I would be out 10 either. I didn't think about all this. So you never know what way God gonna take you. So that's a big thing.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
My bad for the breaking up. I thought y'all was able to hear me. Um, Definitely, Chris. I love what you said, bringing God into it, because I found myself in a bind coming up with my goals. I plan out literally everything to a T. My life used to be so planned out and organized, and when it didn't happen the way I planned it, I got so frustrated, and that kind of like demotivated me in a way. But I had to realize throughout the years that, like Shelby said, my plan is not always what God's plan is.
Right.
And so how I operate now, I have my goals and I know where I wanna go, and how I want, what type of lifestyle I want to live. And then I let God handle it. I don't even really plan out my life anymore. I don't plan out anything anymore, because I realize, like I said, it doesn't work out how you really want it to work out. It happens how it's supposed to. So when I say I'm jotting down my steps, yes, I have my goals, but whenever an opportunity is given to me, that's when I start looking into it in detail and then writing down how I could take advantage of it and what I can use and how I'm going to do it and things like that. But as far as actually planning to get that goal together, I don't even do that no more. I put it all in God's hands.
I love that. That's how it's supposed to be, man. People, as someone I can say personally, someone who has been depressed before, it may not believe it. I was depressed at one point. Somebody had been depressed. A lot of things. I'm jumping to the next question, but it's all right. School, it's okay. We're on here talking. I love it. It's all right.
Now I
But
jump to the next question.
so next question, I'm just gonna go. The next question is how do you keep going when things get tough, in your life or whatever's going on? And
You answered that, Chris. You was about to be on the road with it.
I know. That's why I was like, let me come back and read the question out first before I go into it. But as someone who as was depressed, I think, and I never shared it with Chanel Nia, but I think sometimes that could have been me who did harm to itself, because time got rough. I lost a friend. He hung himself. I seen a year. He was we were on the way to play a football game, and I heard my friend said somebody hung themselves on the in their room, and I forgot the name of the dorm. I think McCuskey, something like that, whatever it's called. But yeah, he hung himself, and he was suffering depression. And I look around all these people, all these young guys and young people, and I'm like, wow. I was able to, get through it and work through it, but a lot of people not that fortunate. A lot of people don't have that foundation and base. And to be honest with you, what got me through personally is I remember who I was. I forgot how strong I was. I forgot what I could do. I forgot where I've been. So I think personally, when you get down bad like that, it's connection with God, and it's also connection with yourself to find yourself again. Because picking up the pieces is hard, especially when you're by yourself, isolated. I caught Chanel crying sometimes. I couldn't see my way out. And another story. Shelby, my junior year, I could not pass this one educational course class at my school. And I was like, what the hell? I want to be a teacher. I was like, what the world? I knew I was out here, boom, boom, boom. I couldn't get past one class. And then so the academic dean of the program set me down and said, look, you can't keep going in this major because you failed the class. I failed the class 3 times. I ain't get to teaching all that. That's not what I'm here about. I can talk bad about it, but I don't want to do all that. But she was a little, woo, woo. She was a little, you know, whatever. But I ain't here for all that. I ain't here for all that. Here for the good vibes only, good vibes only. But my point is though, you know, I was at a point where I didn't know what I was doing. And so I had to switch from education to communications. And at first I was like, why am I in communication? What am I doing with communications? But now I see, hey, certain classes I had, like we had a class of business communication. I do this now with our 10. And the methods I use, from day one, I always told Chanel Nia, I may be the one you hear a lot talking, but I don't want nobody's voice to ever get overshadowed by mine. I want everybody ideas. I want everybody talking. I learned that through communication. And I learned certain things along the way. I was like, dang, if I didn't go through this, I wouldn't learn this. At the time, time is hurtful. I know. Me personally, when somebody depressed like that, I would never tell somebody get over it. Like just get over it. I would never do that to somebody because you never know how deep that person has been cut or been through stuff. But I would tell that person, cry, cry, let it out, but you gotta hurry up and get over it. Not like being mean with you, but your life is too short. If you let that anger eat you up, like it ate me up too. If you let anger and hatred eat you up, it only downfall to you. It only messes with you at the end of the day. And the other person or other people or whatever happened to you, they're even moved on or think about something else, and you're still in that space. I had to learn to forgive people, even if I didn't want to, but I had to forgive myself. If you forgive them for yourself and have the capacity to move on, wow, it's something. It takes practice, takes prayer, a whole lot of prayer. Sometimes you want to, but God be the glory. Sometimes, but it's, but I believe what motivated me and what I hope to help people in the future motivate them is just to be close with God and get through it, but you gotta hurry up because time not gonna wait for you. Time not wait for you at all. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, what you said about like crying, like I cry all the time. Like if I'm happy, I cry. Sad, I cry. Like I even cry when I'm thankful because I'm like I made it this far. And so I cry about that too. And it's just like it's not showing that you're weak, but it's showing like you've been through a lot and what you're doing is great. So I think crying is good. I recommend other people to cry because sometimes it's like it's a way for you to express yourself through crying. And I always cry. Like I'm not a crybaby, but like I cry because I'm thankful and stuff, and like to be where I am. Not a lot of people have the opportunity, so I'm just thankful to God. Like, and that's what motivates me. Is like I could be somewhere else, I could be doing anything else, but like God keeps me motivated because I knew from a young age I was like I'm going to help people. I didn't know how. I didn't know how, but I was like I'm going to help people. So that's what motivates me.
Love it.
I got it.
Crazy. Oh,
Oh,
go ahead. Sorry.
go ahead. All right. Now I was just going to say, I salute you, Chris, man, because there's definitely a stigma against men and showing emotions or even sharing stuff that's really personal. So I know that, I don't know how you interpret it, but it could be a lot to do that. So I definitely salute you. And
Yeah, if people know me, I ain't no, huggy duggy type of dude. I ain't at all,
nah, but
I,
it's definitely important to share those
right.
experiencing stuff because it's real. And I think one thing important to like kind of keep going when your goal may not be working out in the way that you see it is just to, like you said, lean on God. But also just feel comfortable or be comfortable with being uncomfortable and not knowing what may happen because no one knew the pandemic would just come out of nowhere. I know that shifted a whole lot for everyone, including business owners, from us. But I mean, thank God that we're all still healthy. We were able to start our businesses even in the pandemic. So just being able to adjust to that and realizing that what state you're in at that moment where you feel like you're at your lowest and you may not feel like you can get up, that's temporary. And it's going to be a new day the next day, and it's a chance for things to switch around. You never know how quickly things can change in your favor. So just trying to be optimistic when possible, but of course still being realistic, but still trying to be find that good light, that light that shines even in the darkness. And I think expressing gratitude and your situation is usually like, I don't know, it usually helps me the best because I try and like remain optimistic even when stuff looks like terrible. Like it could be raining, have a tornado outside, and I'm like, it's gonna be sunny tomorrow. Like it's all good, I'm gonna just go to sleep, be all right, wake up in the morning, it's gonna be okay. But definitely it's hard to chug through that. But just kind of going back to what Chris said, remembering who you are and finding a gratitude, I think is important and what helps me out. Yeah, you want to go ahead?
Definitely. The most important thing, which really stuck out to me, what Chris said, was forgiveness. Because a lot of the times when we are upset and our mental health isn't where we would like it to be, it's because of what we've gone through, the environment we're in, and the people we are around. Mm-hmm. And those three categories have either it traumatized us in some sort of way. It affected us negatively in some sort of way. And those negative outcomes, they need forgiveness for you to move on. It's very important. You have to forgive people and the situations that you have gone through in order to get over it and to move forward and to grow. Because if you're allowing it just to stay in your heart, it's going to eventually start weighing it down and it's going to become very heavy. Once your heart is heavy, your body is weak, your mind is fluttered, and there is no going past it. The only way you can move forward is through forgiveness. Now, they always say forgive and forget. I know for a fact I don't forget anything, especially nothing that traumatized me. I'm not forgetting. But the forgiveness is the most important part. Y'all have to find it in your heart to forgive the people that done hurt y'all the most and the situations that y'all did not agree with, that y'all been through. You have to.
One thing, getting back to what Chris was saying, and what Nia was saying about forgiveness, but growing up, one of the most naive things I think I thought until I got to college was, like Chris said, the world doesn't stop for you. How he said that, as far as your emotions and that type of thing, allowing yourself to feel, but finding that way to overcome whatever it is that you're going through. I know a lot of times, and Caitlin can even attest to this, where me saying, I want to become a doctor. A lot of times there have been plenty of hard classes where I look at, I'm not even good at math. And a lot of my classes are math oriented, or they have some type of math, or growing up, I'm really good at English. I'm not even the best at science. So it's just like, and that's literally all that my classes are. So for a lot of things, when I first saw it, I saw it as, I maybe can't do this, but then I realized, yes, I can. It's really all about, it's up here. Up here is what makes or breaks it. So there have been times, yes, where, you think you're going to do so good on that test, you get that test grade back and you're crushed. I mean, Kayla has walked in on me and I'm crying. What's wrong? I just got a bad grade on my test. But after that, what do? You wipe your tears, and guess what? You get back to them books. So I say that to say is that, like Chris said, the world does not stop. So it is important that you allow yourself to feel, you allow yourself to feel those emotions, but whether it is forgiving or whether it is remembering who you are or something I do, I have a lot of words around me, inspirational quotes. Whatever you got to do, You got to do it, because at the end of the day, when you look back on your life, you want to say, I did that. I accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish. You don't want to live life of regret, because that regret hurts, because it's like, oh man, I wish I would have. So I encourage everyone in, the ages that we are and everything, to go after what it is you want to go after. Don't let anything stop you. Don't let, as Chris said, the advisors, I've had advisors tell me, yeah, you maybe need to switch, you know what I'm saying? But no, do what you want to do and don't care what anybody has to say about it. So just
And I wanted to just piggyback off of what Shelby was saying. I know it's an important mindset that I know education talks about a lot. It's just the growth mindset, to say like, maybe I can't do this good right now, but wait, just give me a few chances, a few tries to learn it a little more, to kind of just try it out again, and then something might just click. And so just understanding that I might not understand it yet. There's power in the yet, because it means that it's coming. Just wait for it, but definitely.
I feel that.
And I know that a lot of times when I have a goal and it's not necessary, like I said, y'all, I plan out everything to the T, and a lot of the times my plans don't ever go as planned. And people are watching that. People are watching me fail in a way, even though it's not really a failure, it's just a lesson. That's how I look at it. But people see that and they begin to talk. Oh, Nia, I don't think you need to be doing that. You need to go a different direction. You should be thinking about this, or whatever you're doing doesn't seem logical, or whatever the case may be. But I encourage when people have others in their ear trying to talk them out of whatever they want to do, just because it doesn't make sense to them or they don't understand what you're trying to do. I encourage you all to block that out. Block that completely out. You are living your life for you. You're not living life for anybody else. Because whether you win or fail, those people have nothing to do with your life at all. They're going to either be there or not be there. You know what I'm saying? So people that have a lot to say about what you're doing, you listen to them, because maybe they have some advice that you can consider. You listen, of course. I'm not saying be rude and ignore it and everything like that, but don't take it to heart. Because I found myself a lot of the times listening to those things and then getting very angry. Like, don't tell me what to do. I don't care what you're saying. I'm going to do what I want to do. It's my life. Leave me alone. But again, just growing as a person, I realized just listen to what a person has to say and then just tell them okay. Tell them okay, and then it's up to you if you're going to take what they say and apply it to your life or not. And whether they're happy that you applied it to your life or not is none of your business. That's something that they got to deal with. Okay. So definitely I motivate you all to continue to do what you are destined to do, whatever your purpose is in life. Go for it and do not let anybody or anything stop you or deteriorate you from your goal. You are the one living your life. So live it the best way you know how, and make the decisions that is going to get you into the position that you are comfortable in. Don't live your life for nobody else.
I feel that. That's hey.
Period. Okay.
And just one more thing I like to say, and you guys can chime on this too about this topic before we move on. Nia said about forgetting, forgive and forget. It's not as and Shelby talked about too about carrying that burden on you and keeping that on you or stuff like that. But it's very important that you do forgive, but you forget the situation you were in, but don't forget what it looks like. Don't forget whatever space you were in or feeling you was in, where you feel, oh no, gotta go. Like remember, remember that, because it's gonna come up. It's gonna come up. I don't know when, but when you're in that moment, be like, oh, I gotta go. Just so that you can stay protected. Like Nia said, it's your life. You are the captain of your vessel. So whatever you want to do is up to you, and you should let nobody interfere with that. End of the day, that's how I feel about it. Just all that.
Yeah, I talked a little bit about this in the last, I think the last podcast we did, but like you said, as far as the forget part, how I always see it is, like you said, not letting the situation affect you in the same way twice. Like you said, when you feel that, oh, gotta go. That type of energy is important, but it's also remembering when it comes to people and those types of things, you do forgive, but you also, because like you said, you're never going to necessarily forget what happened, but it's your job to then establish new boundaries, and which is something that I talked about last time, is if someone is hitting you, physically hitting you, you're not going to keep letting them hit you. You know what I'm saying? So it becomes important with protecting your energy, which is important when you are feeling down and in those types of times, is to set those boundaries. If you know that this person or this situation makes you feel this way, you're not going to keep you should not keep allowing that person or that situation to make you feel that way. So it's important, as you talk about growth and changing, which I've had to do a lot in my life, is you have to change your mindset about things, and you cannot allow those people, those things, whatever it is, to keep affecting you in that manner. So yeah, so it's important, as I've had to also learn, is setting boundaries, which is key, because not everybody gonna go with you. I've had to learn, I've lost a lot of people just because it's like, where I'm trying to go, you're not trying to go, we don't match up anymore. So at that point, it's, I love you, no hard feelings, but I'm going that way.
Can I
So if
ask you
you,
about that real quick? Can I ask you about that real quick?
yeah.
Okay, when you feel that way, because sometimes I feel that way too. How do you do it? How do you like? How do you separate? Because it's hard. It's really hard to really cut off somebody, and it's easy to say, but it's hard, especially you got a relationship with them. Like, so I just want to know how did you do it? Because I just want to know.
Okay. Well, mine was built over a course of like years, honestly. It took me a while to get to the point that I am now. Some people say it's a problem, but I personally see it has pros and cons to it, is because growing up I was so nice.
Mhm.
So nice. I mean, I would give you my last and I'd be the one struck. That's the type of person I was. So when after realizing, how people will easily take advantage of you, I then began to get almost into the habit of um creating space for myself, and kind of, I just personally stopped talking, because I realize if I'm continuously talking about how this makes me feel, how that, and you're not like listening to me, I can't, there's nothing else that I can do. So for me personally, I just honestly had to learn to just stop talking. So that's over the years what just happened. So in a sense, other people see it as shutting down, but for me, I just see it as, if you're not in the same energy, or if you're not in the same space as me, I just can't, because mentally it's gonna break me down, and you're gonna be okay, but I'm gonna be all discombobulated. So me personally, I've just learned to give myself space, and I honestly go MIA, which I do not suggest, but that's something I have to work on. I'm working on communicating more in that sense, but I just personally believe, the type of person I am, if you can do anything to me to make me get into that space, then I can't. I gotta stop talking to you, So I understand that that's hard to do, especially when, but over the years, it's just become a habit now. So
This one guy who I went to college with, he was in my class, and y'all, man, senior year was a struggle. Okay, it was all types of emotions going through me. I had 21 credits my senior year. Let's start there. Okay, so y'all know I was stressed. Y'all know I was stressed. 7 classes my senior year, last semester. And the teachers, they all were working together. Their offices are next door to each other, so they know when they're going to post a test or an assignment, and they purposely would like have a test back to back. So one test would be for this class on Monday, and then another test would be on Tuesday, and they worked that out together. And so it just became like very frustrating it became very frustrating, and it was so hard to keep my composure in class, because the teachers, they would act like they really wasn't available to help. I'm a finance major, so I had a lot of questions, and it was very difficult. So my reaction to that was anger, and me getting smart with the professors, and me going off during class, and it just got really bad. And again, going back to my classmate, he ended up telling me, like, you know why these professors don't listen to you, Nia? It's because you speak with emotion. You speak with emotion, and instead you should be speaking through facts. Nobody wants to hear how you feel. They don't care that you're mad. They don't care that you had to do X, Y, and Z. They want to know facts. They want you to come to them with actual information that they can work around. They don't care about your emotions and how you feel. And that like really got to me, because I'm like, dang, I realized like him communicating with the professors was totally different when I was communicating. They actually listened to him. They actually cared about what he was saying. They took him under consideration and things like that. What I would ask for, they would deny me, and he would ask for it, and he would get it. And I had to take back what he said. I'm like, dang, that is so true. Don't nobody care about how you feel at all. And so going back to communication, the most important thing, y'all, have facts. Just speak only about truths and not about what you feel or how you or what you think or any of those things, or facts. That's my lesson right there. Facts, facts, facts.
Yeah. And as a communication major, I would say to add on to that, it's all about your tone too. It's all about how you speak to people. So if you come to somebody talking all wild, and this is me personally, you talk to me wild, I'm talking to you wild. You get what you get from me. If you talk to me calm, talk to you calm. So I learned that a lot too. It's all about the tone, and Nia said, it's a hard thing to do, not to come with emotion, especially when you're really adamant about something, or you just want to get your point across. Sometimes it's hard not to flare up and talk, with excitement or whatever have you. But it's a challenge. I'm learning to do it right now. Coming in this public space, man. And Chanel can tell you a lot of time. I'll tell you a funny. So we was in a barbershop, right? And she laughing. We was in a barbershop. Go, Chanel, tell the story. Chanel. You tell about it to me anyway. I tell the story. You tell it.
Now I got. See,
No, go ahead. Go ahead. So, during our Sunday Scrubs event, we go throughout any type of with the community friend. We go into the community, tell them, hey, we're doing this and that, whatever. Hope you come out, whatever have you. And we was going to this barbershop on Marble Pike, and we get in there and like, hey y'all, we gonna be doing this and that. Well, I get in there, they trying to grill me. They coming all all this wild stuff, like yelling. I'm like, I said, don't get done. I was like, it's times I was like, whoa, they was coming at me, and I'm trying to help them out in the community, and I'm like, whoa. And it really took me a second. I had to pull my hands together. Janelle, so I had to hold my hand together, and I was like, took a deep breath in, and I just spoke, but at the time, was I angry? Hell yeah. Did I want to tell them how I really felt? Hell yeah. But like Nia said, you can't do a lot of emotion. And when I did that, the next time I went there, the guys dapped me up everything, because they knew if that was them, or they would have went off. They would have went off and went crazy on them. But it takes that. And sometimes people do this. Take that 1 second. Take that 1 second to be like, okay, how may I help you? Type. You know what I'm saying? That 1 second can really help you, and that helped me in that situation. So I got a lot of funny stuff.
Backing real quick off what Chris said. Yeah, it's hard sometimes being professionalism. It's hard because it is a lot of times where even dealing with other students, even dealing with people my age, where it's just like I'm trying so hard not to say what I'm really thinking. But it's also just like I just want everyone to know, as African Americans, like us, just know when we're going off and that type of thing, it's almost like sometimes people expect us to do that. I've gotten a lot of things where people have, commended me in different situations, or even adults, or people coming from different races. Like I've had white people come, oh my gosh, like you're so, and my first question is, well, how do you expect me to act? Like, what do you think I'm about to be doing? Yelling and screaming at everybody, you know what I'm saying? So I just think that it's really important as far as professionalism everywhere. Make sure at try your hardest, like Mia said, it's also about your tone too. It's something that I've had to practice over the years, but in the long run, it's something that we all have to sometimes take into consideration too, because people don't really care how you feel, like you guys said.
And for the psychology major and social work major. Sorry, y'all. My phone just told me I'm on 10%. Let me put my phone on the charger. For the psych major and the social work major, I have a question for y'all, because going back to Shelby, she said it is important to set boundaries. Can you all elaborate on how much it is important to have standards and boundaries to protect your mental health? Because without that, I already know you're going to be gone without boundaries and standards.
I know one major one.
Can y'all like speak on it more in a scientific?
That's more.
I love it.
More Shelby's area, but from a non-scientific perspective, something that's big on boundaries, like the first step is being able to say no. Like there's a lot of power with the word no. Like I'm still trying to learn how to say no, because even when Shelby, like all my friends ask me a question, I don't want to hurt their feelings, so I don't say no, but I don't say yes. Like I have this face, and Shelby knows the face that I make. And then like automatically she knows, okay, like, yeah, that's a no. But I'm still trying to learn how to say the actual word no. And I just keep thinking to myself, like, oh, I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want to hurt their feelings. But it's like, what about my feelings? Like, so saying no is is one step to building, like having boundaries and stuff. And once you're able to say no, you'll be able to do a lot of things. So
Yeah, I would say it's definitely important to say no to anything that doesn't align with, in psychology, we call it like your core self. So, I mean, whether it be your values, your beliefs, not even like an anonymous state type way. Chris gonna blow me. But no, seriously, like you just have to have your core beliefs, things that are basically what are called non-negotiables. So if you say, I'm not going to negotiate for my family, like time with my family is non-negotiable. So if anything is trying to interfere with your time with your family, then you say, no, I can't do that. And then you'll kind of just build this image of yourself, or your self-identity. But when you start to have these, or when you have beliefs or values that your behaviors are not following, then that's when you start to have a conflict within yourself, where you start to kind of you're trying to figure out, like, who am I? What do I really believe in? Because if you believe I shouldn't be, or I should spend more time with my family, but yet you're like out and you're spending a lot of time with everybody else but your family, and you're kind of neglecting them or whatever, this can apply to literally anything. But when those things aren't aligning, then you get confused with who you are. And then there's a problem with your self-identity. And then it's kind of hard for you to make decisions and then set those boundaries, because you don't really know what should have your time, who your core self is. So going into the psychology piece of it is just to really maintain those, whatever your values are, your core values, and what are your non-negotiables, and really stand by that. And don't allow literally anyone to change that, unless you have anything can happen where you have a traumatic experience and then those things change, which is okay. But when it changes, you have to stay consistent with those things, because if not, you'll lose a sense of self, which will create all types of conflict and stuff.
And one more show.
Yeah, boundaries. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh no, I thought all the psych majors talk. I was saying Shelby. if she's something to say.
No, you guys hit a lot of the key points. I'm only in second year in psychology, so I'm not as experienced as you, Trudell. But yeah, it's most definitely important, like Caitlin said, saying the word no, and also learning how to communicate and say what is on your mind, but also incorporating the aspect of like how we were talking about tone and how you say and what you say, because they're even with talking to friends, like nobody wants to be talked down to, and nobody wants to, you know what I'm saying, be talked to like they're dumb or don't understand. So it is important combining like how you feel about it, how you're going to communicate it, and then effectively, carrying it out and trying to create the less commotion as possible. You get what I'm saying? Like those three things, like it's really hard to do. But with practice.
And I'd say like another thing, just be like, I guess, prepared for it. When you're making boundaries, sometimes it may like you may feel a little guilty, like, oh, I can't do this for you, or saying no to somebody may make you feel like, oh man, like I'm supposed to be there for them. But at the end of the day, like you have to take care of yourself. And that again, mental health, if you don't take care of yourself, then you can't take care of anyone else. And so I feel like just getting used to setting those boundaries, you'll feel more comfortable with doing that and basically putting yourself first rather than getting the short end of the stick every single time.
So, Chris, as a communication major, how can we say no in a very understanding way? So if somebody asks us, oh, can you look out? They just, if I say no, they're going to be like, dang, well, why not? You my friend. You supposed to look out for me. You my family member. Why you not helping me? And it might be because you're in a bad situation, but you don't want to put your own business out there. So you don't want to necessarily explain to them why you're saying no, but you want them to still understand why you're saying no. So how can we communicate that to them?
Sorry, y'all. That's a good question.
Communication.
The main thing as a communicator, you understand, it's a two-part instrument, or however probably many people in there, but mostly it's use two people instrument, right? So when it comes to that, it's all about coding what you say and how people receive it. So the communication part is what like this: you say something, the receiver gets it, and then you code in your mind what he or she is saying, and then whatever code you get in your mind is what you're gonna be thinking for your next response to the person. So it's a back and forth exchange like that. So within that period, it's important to, even when you don't want to do something or you have a conflict with something, whatever have like that, again, going back to tone, going back to, saying no, but you could say, no, I can't do it, whatever have you. But then you can say, no, I'm not doing that crap. So it's all about how you say it and what verbiage you use after that is very important as well. And I would say personally, when it's all about no, I would say we don't want to say no. When you're trying to say no to the situation or people, whatever have you, I would say personally just to make sure your tone is on point and just stand firm. Have a reason, have your reason, whatever have you, and say no. But sometimes for y'all, a simple no is good. And you had no reason. I mean, unless it's something like a big corporation, something like a job or something like that, your best friend, that's something different. But like if somebody say, hey, can you go to the store and get me something? No.
Yeah, the thing I tell Shelby is I tell her you don't have to explain yourself to them.
Right. Unless you're in a situation where you have to explain whatever have you, but if you're not in that situation, like Nia said, it's your life. You the captain of your vessel. So you don't need to switch up your lane for not a damn soul.
And that's my problem. I don't have any problem at all saying no to a person, but then they just, sometimes they want to know why I'm saying no. And I'm like Caitlin said, I don't have to explain nothing to you. My no means a no. Why do I have to go further into why I'm saying no? But then that comes off as being rude and disrespectful. So that's why I asked that question, Chris. But definitely,
I would Yeah, I would really say like you don't have to explain yourself to anybody. And if there's anyone that does feel like, well, what you know what I mean? Like, well, why can't you say no? That's first of all disrespectful because why don't you respect my boundaries that I'm setting? So I think in saying no and trying to provide some type of reason or to make them understand the situation a little better, just to say, look, I can't go. I actually don't want to go into any details. Not even I can't, but I don't want to go into further details. But I'm unable to do this for you. Period. And that's literally. Hopefully that'll be it. But at the same time, it's like the other person has to understand as well that and has to respect your boundaries. So I think that's an important piece as well. And if they can't respect it, then they can respectfully leave. That's my
They could
Yeah.
get or get left. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing Caitlin tells me all the time. Cause like I said, at the end of the day, I am a not even it's so crazy because the way me and Caitlin are, I'm blunt and Caitlin's like the total opposite. But then it's also like when it comes to saying no and that type of stuff, like we're both nice. So I'm still like, well, no, because X, Y, and Z. And sometimes Caitlin like, why do you even have to? But it's just because I kind of feel bad for saying no. So it's also like patting it like no, and then patting it with like some marshmallows and pillows, you know. But that is something I do have to learn, like no, because I said no. And like you guys said, sometimes, you know, either you understand or you don't, but that's not my problem. So that's something that I learned today that, well, I'm going to keep trying to practice. So thank you all.
So I have another question. Okay, we're going into 2021, right, y'all? We're going into 2021. And how do I put this? Okay, so going into 2021 and we're talking about protecting our mental health. I know a lot of people, when they're going through things, their way of coping is using some type of substance. Can y'all hear me? It looks like y'all are frozen. Yeah, okay, my bad. So they use some type of substance. Whenever somebody annoys them, you get angry, you have to grab a drink or you have to grab some smoke. But how can someone protect their mental health and cope through the things they're going through without having their mind altered? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a hard one.
So without having like, okay, so do you mean mind alter in a bad way or a good way? Do you mean like
altering their mind by using a substance? So smoking cigarettes, smoking weed, drinking liquor, things like that. That they're depending on those things to make them feel better, so they don't have to deal with the world, deal with what they're going through right now. So they're using that as a dependency. But I want to know how people that are going through things like that, how they can cope without using anything. Why can't we just go through life?
My good friend right here told me that you need to use hobbies sometimes as a way of taking your mind off some things and being able to, I guess, escape, because that's the main thing people want. They want to escape when you're down bad or when things are going your way. You trying to escape reality, and that's what the drugs do. And I'm be honest with you. When I was down, I smoked a little. I smoked a little weed. I had but sometimes it helped me to forget. It helped me to be able to move on. But over time, I realized that wasn't the right way to do it. I was like, first of all, that's too expensive to do it that way. Number one. Number two, it didn't help anything. It didn't solve the problem. That's the main thing. When you're in that situation, when you're in that box, in the wilderness, whatever you want to call it, it's important that, like I said earlier, you cry, you attack the problem, and then you deal with the problem. Maybe that problem is an outside source, or maybe the problem is yourself too. You never know. Maybe you have to realize, okay, did I do my best job, or am I gonna blame somebody else? Sometimes we have to take a step back from ourselves and really say, is like Nia said with the alcohol or drugs, is it really helping? or to help me cope. And especially, I know sometimes my grandfather, he used that sometimes as a coping mechanism. And he was alcohol, sometimes did alcohol. I mean, it was alcoholic at times, but when he came home, he was threatening, he was angry, he was mean, and he sometimes forced my mother and her sister, my grandma, forced him out the house because he was so belligerent and drunk. They were afraid of him, but he used that as a mechanism, and it doesn't only hurt. Now, you're not only affecting yourself, but most important, you're affecting those around you, affecting your family, your wife, your girl, your spouse, whatever have you, your children, your cousins, your uncle. It's a domino effect. So now by you doing, now and then luckily, I had a little past of my own life, me seeing that, like not seeing it but hearing about it, made me understand that that's not the way to do things, because it's a, like I said, it's a domino effect, and you don't want, you already messed up. You don't want to hurt nobody else in your family. I don't want to do that. If I messed up, I need to worry about getting myself together and to be able to move on. That's the main goal about all this. So to answer your question, I would just say, just try to set your priority and say to yourself, hey, do you really want to change or do you want to cope? That's the true
Okay,
question.
so going back to the story you just shared with us, you said, your grandfather, he coped with the alcohol, but the alcohol just made him, it probably made him happy, but the way that he was getting his joy was by taking his anger out on other people. So for those who cope by even taking their anger out on others, what can we say to them to help them prevent from doing that? Because again, they're not only just hurting themselves, but they're hurting those around them, those who they are taking it out on. So what can we say to them to stop that from happening?
I would say a big thing. Well, one, I think it depends on each person, but I think a big thing is to definitely seek help. So when you realize, like, oh, I spiraled down into a place of dependency on drugs, on alcohol, whatever it is, like, I need to go seek help. And it's going to get ugly. It's not a pretty process, but it's something that has to be done in order for someone to kind of get up from that low point. And even from just doing meditation, breathing, I know Chris said, like, he took a second in the barbershop to just breathe. When going through situations where you feel like you need drugs or you feel like you need alcohol or anything like that, I think it's important to just meditate on the situation, to breathe, to really focus in on how you're feeling and to feel all of that in its realness. Because after you feel that, I mean, I think what drugs and alcohol does is it suppresses that. You're able to escape from that. You're able to feel something that's different and you're able to kind of get away from that situation just for the time being. But when the drugs and the alcohol wear off, you realize you're still in that situation. So for anybody that is struggling with alcohol dependency or drugs or anything like that, I think it's just important to understand the realness of the situation and talk to other people about it. Just try out different things like hobbies or try to basically deal with the situation, the problem specifically. Don't try and run from it. Try and solve it and deal with it on your own as best as you, or not on your own, but as best as you can, and then seek out help when you need it.
Yeah, like you said, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think a lot of reason why people do turn to drugs and that type of thing as like coping mechanisms is because it's also what's like glorified in the music that we listen to, the social media that we see. That's all we see nowadays is the drugs. So it's like I hear a lot of people say like fighting demons, which I guess is a term that rappers and things use that now people use, and they say they fight their demons by using drugs. And so I just think that it's also important, like we don't see people taking out their anger or coping with their anger and saying, yeah, well, I exercise to help do that. You know what I'm saying? Like you just don't hear a lot of stories about people doing that. So I think that's also another reason why a lot of people turn and think, okay, well, I'm gonna just smoke some weed, X, Y, and Z. It's because that's what they see. So like you guys said, it is important to find hobbies and and things that, which I'm still in the process of trying to do, find hobbies that I love that can help me when I get stressed, because I'm a high strung person. So I'm naturally like, oh my God, I'm naturally stressed a lot. So that's something I'm still learning to do as well. But it's easier said than done, but I would just encourage people to, social media, it's not like real. Like people think like they want to start doing it all the time, but when you're dependent on it, you don't want to be. People that really have problems, they don't want those problems. So I encourage people to not want to get those problems. You get what I'm saying? Like, please, we got to find something else.
Like you're saying, you got to find different avenues. You can't, like I said, like we all saying, if you go down that route, you're not solving the issue. You're not fixing the problem. And as long as you don't fix the problem, that's more time you're gonna take yourself, like Caitlin said, from crying. That's wasted time. You could have been crying, and that wasted time you would have been crying. You could have, found about it, moved on, and got better. So it's very important that you don't use that as your therapy or as a mechanism. So it's very important, I would say. All right, and then y'all, we got one more question, but we really been knocking them down. So I hope we probably can answer. Okay, so here we go. Last one of the day. Well, we got more. It don't matter, but just tips to how to stay motivated. How do you stay motivated, Kayla?
Something that keeps me motivated is like, because sometimes I personally just don't want to do anything. Like, I wouldn't want to get out of bed and I just don't want to do anything. So I'm like, I tell myself, like, do it for like my little cousin, because I'm like, my little cousin, she looks up to me, and I'm like, at least do it for her, like, so I could show her like, you can do this, you can do whatever you want. So I just have like just little things, like do it for my cousin, do it like, I know it's like weird, but like my dog, like I love my dog, like Shelby knows I love my dog. Like whenever I can, I take pictures of my dog and I send her a picture of my dog. And it's just like, my dog makes me happy. Like thinking about him, like my dog just makes me happy. And so like, I spend time with my dog. Like it may be weird, I talk to him, whatever, we just chill. We're just chilling. But like, my dog makes me happy because he's just like, sometimes you just have to have someone that's just sitting there. Like they don't like listens, and dogs can't talk back. So you're gonna hear what you want to hear, like, because they can't talk. But I just like being in presence with my, like, because he just brings good energy, and I just love him so much. So
Well, she on and on about her dog. So yeah, just letting you know.
yeah, but I don't want to do that. But like, I just try to surround myself with good people, and just being around good people, good energy. Yeah, because if I feel that bad vibe, I leave the room. Shelby could tell you there's multiple times where there's just bad vibes on campus, and I would just leave. But just trying to maintain with good energy, whether that's picking up a hobby, eating food, hanging out with friends, hanging out with your dog, cat, whatever. Just picking up a hobby that makes you happy, or doing something that makes you happy.
Yeah, I think a big thing I always try and say to stay motivated is just to remember your why, your passion. Why did you start it in the first place? So when it comes to vision boards and stuff like that, I'm not gonna lie. Like I'll make them real nice. They look real cute. And then January, I'm looking at them. February come, I'm like, okay, I had some plans set out. We still gonna get it. March come, and I stopped thinking about that because it's spring break, and at that point, I don't know. My mind's not really there, but I guess just moving into this new year, I think one thing that I want to try to do is just to continue to revisit my goals and maybe like have a monthly kind of check-in for myself to say, okay, am I still making progress towards my goals? Why did I start this again? Why do I want to do this? Like just making sure that my goals are something that are personable to me, to make sure I stay motivated to want to do them, because the stuff that we want to attain is like, it's not always pretty, like filling out those business papers and doing all this, the paperwork and the nasty, y'all know what I mean. Y'all see what I mean. But it's not always fun, but just remembering like, why do I want to do this? Well, this will allow me to have my own business. this will allow me a little bit more freedom. Okay, well, let me just go ahead, put my head down and get this out the way, and then I'll get back to something that's a little bit more enjoyable. But just remembering a why, I think, is what'll help me in this new year at least.
Yeah, piggybacking off what you said, Chanel, the why is important, and that's one thing that keeps me motivated as well. But then it's also like I said, envisioning where you want to be in life, as well, because sometimes for me the why, when I'm that frustrated, I can't even remember the why. So it's just like sometimes for me I have to, of course, pray about it. I have to really sit back, allow yourself to have those chill off days, and then to just truly think, where you want to be and what you want to end up doing. And I think sometimes that's also what helps me, keeps me motivated. And as well, sometimes I just want to say, when you're creating your own path, things can really get ugly, because it's like, especially like for instance in my family, like I'm the first, we have a line of entrepreneurs, but as far as like people in the medical field, I'm the first person to really do that type of thing. And it's also like they have very strict codes on how you're supposed to look, but I don't, like, I want to have piercings in my ears, you know what I'm saying, like stuff like that. And it's like, also, you want to have these businesses and you want to be in school and you want to make money, but sometimes you're not able to do that all at one time. So it's just really this year, and what I'm going to use in the next year is realizing things take time. Like Chanel said, keep your head down, keep doing what you're doing. And like you all said, don't listen to the white noise all the time, because everybody's going to tell you why you can't do it, but you have to know why you can. So that's my 2 cents. Keep it motivated.
Definitely. I stay motivated because I know exactly what I'm capable of doing. My parents, they could have had the option of naming me Destiny, but they chose to name me Nia when I was born. And Nia means purpose. I know for a fact that I have a purpose here on this earth. And I know that my purpose is big. It's a huge purpose that is really going to affect this world. And my thoughts on it, just by looking at the situations I've gone through and things like that, I've realized that a lot of the things that are holding me back is my mental health. The way I think of things, the way I talk to people, the way I react to certain situations, they affect me in a negative way. And I say that's all God. He's saying that you're not going to go far until you're ready. Until you have your mental health in check. Until then, that's when you will get what you are looking for. That's when you're getting where you deserve to be. And so until then, I just motivate myself to keep pushing. Like I said, I had plans and they didn't work out, and they didn't work out for a reason, because God said I'm not ready. And so mental health, that's very important, because you can't, like Trinell said, you cannot help yourself if your head is all messed up, it's out of whack. You can't help yourself, and can't nobody help you either. So I stay motivated by knowing where I want to be and knowing that I'm capable 100% of getting myself there. So I do everything possible to keep my mental health intact. Like Chris said, I try to stay busy. I have not one job, but I have 3 different jobs. So I'm always on the go. I'm always doing something. And also on top of those 3 jobs, I have 2 businesses. I have to stay busy, because if I'm not busy, then I'm going to focus on something else that I don't have no business focusing on. And that's going to deteriorate where I'm trying to go. Like, for real, you have to stay busy and you have to keep it together, y'all. My attitude is ridiculous. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I have a very bad attitude when I get frustrated.
No, she don't.
But I fail a lot. I fail a lot on that. I do. I get mad and I'm ready to turn up. Okay, I am the stereotype of a Black woman. I'm that stereotype, that angry Black woman, and I don't like being that. So, like I said, God knows that I can't be no businesswoman in the professional world acting out of character. So until then, I'll be getting to where I want to be. And that is my motivation.
Yeah, I going back to that when Neil was saying, my motivation personally comes from the understanding of what I've been through, and that and that gives me strength sometimes. Not to say always try to look back and look on bad things, but look how I was in one situation, but then I got out of it, or somebody told me that I wouldn't, and then I did it. They told me when I was little I could never talk. I would never even talk. The teacher, I never forget. I was like kindergarten. I don't remember. My parents remember whatever. But it was like kindergarten or whatever, and I had a real bad speech impediment. And the teacher snapped the mic out my hand. I was saying it was during an assembly. It was like during assembly, and it was like Christmas assembly, whatever. And she snatched the mic out of my hand because she wanted me to talk. Oh, my parents were pissed. I was mad about that, But I've always dealt people tell me that I couldn't, I wouldn't, I shouldn't, and it's been older people and younger people, and each time I look them in the eyes and I say, "Watch me, watch what the hell I do," and it's not off not off like a cocky type attitude or like I own the world type attitude. It's the fact that I've been down, but I know how to get back up. And once I get back up, you don't want to see me. I've done things that I'm not proud of, but you know what? And we all done things like that, and it makes us stronger how we move forward. You know, go back to high school. It told me Bishop McNamara told me right up the street told me I would have to I would have to reclass to get accepted to that school. Based on repeat the 8th grade. I said, you lost your plot picking mind. The whole council called me a little slow. I said, well, you know what? That's cool. You know what? I did? I went to Pilates, a way better school, met some real good people. And you know what I did? I graduated. I went from there to another school. People said I wouldn't get in that school. Graduated in 4 years. Did what I did my time, keep moving. And all the people said I couldn't, wouldn't, should. You know what I'm saying? And let the good Lord hit you, let the good Lord hit you, because I can say so bad about you, but I thank you. It's weird to say, like, sometimes your haters are your biggest motivators sometimes. But one thing about that though is how you use that energy though. Don't use it as spiteful, don't use it as you trying to get back at somebody or you trying to cause harm to somebody. You don't want to do that because you want to stay clear. You want to stay in your aura and your self-respect. It's very important that, and like Nia said, we're all growing and learning in this process. She learning how to communicate with people, learn how to be a businesswoman. We're all learning. We're not perfect. And I'm not put about any imagination of the means. But each day, it's important that we try to grow. It's important you have a team around you, good people around you that can help you grow. Like Nia said, where she may be, her little communication part may be her weak spot, but I'm here to pick her up. And vice versa. I may be not too good with numbers, but then Nia got me when I'm not there, or when there's a problem, something like that, Trinell got me, and it moves in that triangle like that. And that's some key to our partnership.
Literally.
Right.
Literally, I'm like, Chris, we gotta deal with people, so that's on you. I'm not talking to nobody. Communication is completely Chris. I try to make sure that I don't have any communication with people because I don't want to mess up our business opportunities. So I give that to Chris. But one day soon, in 2021, I want to be just like Chris and be able to communicate with any type of person in the correct way. That is my motivation right there, by watching the people that are doing it correctly and everything else. I'm gonna learn from you, Chris.
Right, but I learned from you too. It's all about practice, all about trying to understand that you are growing. Realize we're young too. Like, we're growing. We're doing, and y'all doing great things. Shelby, Kaylee, y'all doing a great thing. What y'all doing over there, I commend you all what you're doing, and I'm so appreciative you guys in this space with us. And we're young too, our 10. We're young not only as companies but as adults. Most time people in the industry, they're older, they're well established, have a career, whatever. We're coming to gateway like this. So it's hard. It's hard, at times, but it's a good thing that we have a team and family around us that can help us through these times. So, as again, going back to your mental health, it's important that you're able to talk to people and have that person you can talk to. If you don't have that person to talk to, just eat you up inside and you're not able to heal. The whole thing about mental health, about switching from being in the box or being down bad, is for you to transition to a new person, a new thing, a new understanding of life. So, I know I said a mouthful of stuff. So,
Just really quickly, one last thing, just removing fear. That was big for me. Growing up, I never had the confidence to do anything. And that's another thing that really held me back. So I always just encourage, once you remove fear out of your vocabulary and just trust that things are going to work out, you'd be surprised on the strength that you get when
That
you
is
don't
huge.
care if you're failing, because once you fail, like Chris said, you're gonna get back up. And when you get back up, nobody want to see you get back up because you come in full force. So big thing what I did this year, and one thing I'll never go back to, is being afraid. I was afraid to talk to people. I was afraid to, so don't be afraid, do what you want to do, and things like this will happen where you pair with amazing people like y'all.
Yeah, just to touch on what you said, like fear is big. Like I'm still trying to learn how to not be scared, because I'm just like it. The back of my mind is like, what would they think? What would they think? Like if I do this, what would they think? And I keep telling myself like, it doesn't matter what they think. Like you do you, and if they don't like it, that's on them. So I'm still trying to learn that. Hopefully, like 2021, this will be my year. Like I'm gonna do me. Um, but everything takes time. Everything takes time, and I'm learning that patience is key. But yeah, I make sure to live with no regrets. So everything that I did, I do not regret it, and it made me the person I am now. So I'm thankful for everything that I've been through.
Let me speak on that fear real quick. Oh, yeah, that is a huge point, because okay, I am the youngest out of 6 kids, and I have like 1,000 cousins and everything else, and I'm the youngest out of everybody, literally. So growing up, I was told you had all these examples of what not to do and what to do. So we expect you, Nia, to be the person who takes this family and do something with it, because everybody else, they're already stuck in their ways, they're already doing what they're doing. And so we want to make sure that you're not following in the same path as the ones who didn't go very far and things like that. And then so just growing up, I had a lot of fear, like, am I doing the right thing? Ooh, I hope I'm not going to end up like XYZ. Ooh, I don't want to be looked down at. I don't want to be looked like I just didn't want. I was focused on what people were thinking of me. I was focused on not. My biggest fear was failing, because I'm like, they're dependent on me. I can't fail. They're dependent on me. And so I just had a lot of fear on how I wanted myself to look. I was like, I need to be a great influence. People are watching. Kids are looking at me. I don't want to have this type of content on my Instagram. I don't want to be whatever. But then going back to what I said earlier, I then realized, I'm not living for nobody. I'm living for myself, because at the end of the day, I am here by myself. And that right there, it allowed me to realize that it's okay to be who you are. And it's okay to do things your way. There is no right or wrong answer. Just because this person went through something and they're trying to tell you that don't do it because this can happen, that doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen to you. That doesn't mean that's your life situation. There is no right or wrong answer. You do what you feel like is best for your life. That's why I got extremely bold, y'all. I said I'm about to dread my hair up. Forget companies and what they say. They're not about to tell me I can't have dreads in my hair, and I'm about to dye my hair green. I'm being bold. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about what anybody has to say anymore. I'm not afraid. I got my tongue pierced. I said, what? Y'all can think whatever y'all want. I don't care anymore. I'm living my life how I want to live, and I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I'm not listening to what anybody has to say about it, because then that goes into my mental health, those negative sayings, and people demotivating me, and have things that I don't even care about. You know what I'm saying? So take that fear out, and live your best life. No more fear.
I want to say one more thing on this. Sorry. So yeah, I can definitely relate to this, and it's something that I'm still like kind of working through. As a kid, I was classified as tag, which is talented and gifted. And while people may think like, oh, that's really cool, we got to get out of class, it was real. It was nice. We played chess.
I don't love fool you. Time out. Yeah, I went to elementary school with you there. Hell no. You had to be out in class, have a bunch of fun. It's like, no.
Okay, no, it was real fun. Don't get me wrong, but it's definitely a
clearly Chris wasn't tagged.
Yeah, damn right. I wasn't tagged. I was in the medium class. I was in the intermediate.
But look, sometimes I wish I did have that experience, because I just feel like when you're considered tag, like you're considered to be like, you're smart. That's all you hear. Like, you're so smart. Like, and then it'll be a time where you don't get something, or something doesn't come as easy to you. And then it's kind of like a self-esteem shock. Like, dang, like I'm so smart, like, but I didn't get this. And so just growing up, it's something that people start to think like it's embedded in you. You just have a smart mind, when really you just kind of know how to work through school a little better than everybody else. But it's really like, it's not really nothing that in terms of like your smartness or anything like that. So with that, I feel like just growing up, I felt like I had to be perfect. And if I wasn't perfect, or I had the wrong answer, I didn't know something, I always felt like, well, dang, maybe I'm not smart. Maybe I'm not living up to these standards that people have set for me. So I'm still learning how to kind of navigate through setting my own standards, and understanding like, even if I don't have the right answer, even if something isn't perfect, it's still fine. It's something I can work towards to be better. But it definitely has played a role within how I view the world. But I think it's important to kind of, going back to what Nia said, like, just know what you want to aim for, be yourself completely, and whatever negative words, remarks, or anything like that comes from anybody else, you got to literally sidetrack that and say, boop, my opinion on myself is literally all that I need, and keep going into 2021 just like that.
I see. You couldn't say it any better. I love it. I love that. That came right from the heart, and I love all you guys' responses. This has been great. This has been something that people need to hear. This is something that may help somebody, and that's the whole point about this podcast. You all don't just listen and like and laugh. We love that you guys do that, but really take into account what everybody said. Take into account their experiences. Take account people's opinions. Just take that consideration, because you never know. You may need to relate information to a friend, or help somebody in need. And sometimes I think about it. And I'm close with this. Well, I'm about to close, but when my friend killed himself, it always made me think like, wow, maybe if I would have done something, because the funny story is that I saw him the night before he did that, the night before he hung himself in the dorm, at his dorm. I saw him at a basketball game. I didn't speak to him. I saw him, and I told somebody else, I said, that's my good friend right there. He's a good guy, whatever, at that point. But I didn't know he was going to do that, So you never know who you may affect, or what outcome you may change by your words and stuff like that. And don't be cruel to people. People who've been depressed, what they don't need you to yell at them, don't need you is to belittle them or make them feel less. It may not be as severe, maybe, as you may take some of that severe, but it doesn't give you the right to downplay that. It doesn't give you the right to make them feel belittled. And, those who have been depressed and have been through that time, I tell you again, cry, learn, try to work through it. If don't use, like we said, don't use any substance as a coping mechanism. Really dive deep into the issue you're having. talk to someone, and if you need help, ask. Especially somebody like me, it took me a long time to be able to say I need help. That's hard. That's hard words to say sometimes. But even I had learned somebody who's independent as me or somebody like that, that you have to ask for help. And there's nothing wrong with saying you can't do something, because somebody may can't do something, but the next person you ask may can do it. So take anything from the day you all, have a good faith and stay prayed up, get connection with God, and work through it every day and have a supporting team around you. That's all I can say to you. If you want even more information, you can always contact us on our social media pages, and we'd love to talk to you more about it. Yeah.
Definitely. And then also we're gonna be having in the near future different assemblies on communication and different assemblies on protecting your health and being able to stay motivated and things like that. So if you're interested in those, or if you run an institution and you're interested in your students being a part of these assemblies, then of course, make sure you all message us on our Instagram or Facebook page, or you can even email us at our 102020@gmail.com. And if you all have questions for Shelby and Kaylin, again, they're psych majors and social work majors, definitely, that's what they do. That's what their organization is about. Contact them too. I really am glad that we definitely we did this series on mental health. This is gonna help a lot of people, y'all. This was a great wrap up of the series as well. We had some good content, y'all. I'm proud
Yes.
of us.
I love it. I love it. So you guys stay tuned with us. We love you guys. We appreciate you all. Stay safe, wear a mask, be a leader, follow us, get the hell out the way. Let's do the work together. Much love, you guys.